Jenna, we are on the road, on location today.
Yes.
And this has been so much fun because we got to be a part of the 2025 DePaul Athletics Hall of Fame induction and sit down one-on-one with all of our inductees, which was such a cool experience I mean, you went to DePaul, so you know better than I do, but I learned so much just by talking to all of these former athletes about how DePaul changed them, about what it was like to be here when they were here, how it's changed since then, and where their careers went after DePaul and how DePaul kind of shaped the rest of their lives.
Truly. And we were saying, like, when you read all of the awards and the accomplishments and everything they've done, they're rock stars. Like, every person we talk to is a rock star in their own category, and to be able to have them like sit in this chair across from us was like truly an honor. There was something that two of our guests said that mirrored each other, and I do want to give a preview to it because I think it's really important. And they had talked about, like, I think we asked a question about, like, what advice would you give to people who want to potentially have a career like you one day, or like really make an impact on DePaul. And it was not only just, like, I think taking care of yourself, which is pretty obvious, but like making sure the people around you matter too. And I don't think that's often like talked about as much, but like you really got to be careful of like who's in your garden and like who's going to be like nourishing you and taking care of you, because like that could be, what, lifts you up or what drags you down. And and hearing like 2 out of our 5 guests say that, I thought was really unique.
Yeah, we had Wilson Chandler on, DePaul men's basketball alum, Lene Ferguson, women's basketball alum. We had, two softball players, former softball players who know each other. One recruited the other, Saskia and Liza. Their careers.
51 home runs.
Saskia, Ski, as they call her.
Yes.
51 or 52?
51 home
That's
runs.
iconic, and it hasn't been beaten yet, so she's amazing and
She's
hilarious.
wanting someone to beat it.
Yeah.
But no one has done it yet.
Yeah, she's ready for someone to beat her record. And just, again, like, the connection they all had was really cool. I mean, who am I missing? Matt, who was a thrower.
Yeah.
Who was great. He was our first guest of the day.
Yeah.
He was emotional in his Hall of Fame speech last night. And you can tell, I think what's really cool about this, how grateful all of them are.
Yeah.
And a lot of them said, we weren't even expecting this. This came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting this. And so you can tell how grateful they are and how fun it was for them to share their stories, not only with everyone at the dinner last night, but here with us. But it's funny because they spoke in front of this large room of people last night, and none of them seemed that nervous, but they walked in here and they were like, whoa. Like, I'm like, it's just us. It's just our crew. We're chill, but they see the lights and kind of our legit setup, and they're like, this is intimidating. But I feel like once they sat down and got comfortable, we just heard a lot of fun stories and great advice.
Yeah, great advice, amazing stories, a lot of kind of behind the scenes, and also just, I think, learning where everyone's at now. And this time, I think, for all of them has been a beautiful time of reflection. Like, it's really, you don't want to dwell on the past, but I think in moments like this, it is incredible to look back to be like, yeah, I did all of that. And in the moment, like, you can't, I don't think you can ever really.
You're grinding in the moment.
You don't think about that because you're so focused on, like, I'm trying to win this, or I need to improve this. I need to get better at this. Like, you're just kind of working towards the next yes, or the next best thing that you're supposed to do. And it is all these like little pebbles that build up over time that give you a collegiate Hall of Fame career, which like people can't say. People can't say.
And DePaul has changed, and college athletics has changed with NIL and the transfer portal and all of the things. But I think what you'll learn in this episode is that some of the fundamentals that these athletes talked about in their careers are still like tried and true, important, didn't change.
Yeah.
Will still help any student athlete watching or listening be successful today.
And they all had another kind of similarity too, to that point of like, they all had people that cared, and they all talked about the care of DePaul here and the coaching staff that cared when, maybe they didn't have to because it wasn't the, sexy thing to do or what was supposed to be done, but like they did it because it was the right thing to do. And I just think that, me, I love DePaul, and I think it just goes to show what this place means to so many people. And because they're doing the right thing, it's really shown in the people that we get to chat in.
We've heard that from our current coaches and our student athletes that we've had on throughout the season too. So DePaul has stayed the same in that way.
Yeah.
This is a great episode. Can't wait for you guys to listen. If you want a little extra motivation, listen to this episode. Welcome into a very special episode of the Blue Demon Room podcast. I am the host, Casey Standahar, my co-host, Jenna Duddleson, joining us. And this is a very special episode because we're on location, first of all. It's like when Jimmy Fallon takes his show on the road, like we're not at our normal location.
Yes.
We're at the Marriott, right across from Wintrust Arena, and we're joined by our Hall of Fame inductees from the 2025 Hall of Fame class. And Matt Babicz is our first guest. Matt, thank you for being with us. Congratulations on the induction. You were a track and field athlete from 2010 to 2014, and now in the Hall of Fame. How does it feel?
Feels amazing, surreal. A lot of emotions are flooding in, but I'm truly humbled and honored, and last night was amazing.
Yes, we had the induction ceremony last night, and so many people just had great speeches, and I was moved because yours was emotional, and you just came in here talking about that and how, you kind of had this flood of emotions. Maybe you weren't expecting that.
Definitely wasn't. Kind of woke up thinking assuming that it was going to go a certain way, and it totally went a different direction. But I think the emotion showed how much it meant to me, to the people around me, my coaches, my family, athletics department, everyone that kind of helped that journey. So it came out and it felt great to kind of express that emotion on stage. So.
Yeah. And we were talking before we started recording, but it's all about you. Whereas when you're an athlete, and yes, what you do is individual in a sense, but it is a team sport and you are working together. So when the camera's on you and the spotlight's on you and the mic is solely for you, there is this sense of oh wow, everything's paid off, or I didn't this. It's probably not a goal you do it because you love it, obviously. But when you were up on stage and giving your speech, did you have any flashbacks to when you first started doing this, or was there anything that kind of came into your mind?
Yeah, definitely a lot of memories. And if I go back to the origin story, it was the reason I got into this or pursued collegiate sports, it wasn't really for, I guess, the reasons that how do I want to say it? It was so I tried to get my school paid for, right? And then, had the opportunity to come to DePaul and compete, and then quickly it's I love this. I love this. I love to compete, and I had such a great support staff, and my coach brought the most out of me. And it's my goal shifted. It's I think I want to do this at an elite level type thing, and but the memories, so many things came back. Freshman year out in North Carolina, spring break with the team for 2 weeks training. I remember those times, all the national meets, all that stuff. But it was the people, the time I spent with the people was what I was kind of reminiscing on the most. So.
What struck me last night is not only the emotion involved, but you were just mentioning your family so proud, and you talked about your wife, Hannah, and just kind of how she's been such a big part of your life and a partner through this journey. You guys were high school sweethearts, right?
We were.
So did you go to DePaul together too?
So she went to Robert Morris in the city, so kind of close neighbors.
Mm-hmm. Down the block.
Down the block.
Down the block, yeah.
Hop on the red line.
Yeah.
But she was with me through and through. And part of the reason why I chose DePaul was because it would allow us to be close. And we stayed together the whole time. She came to just about every single meet. She probably got to hear, every team's got drama. She probably heard it all and was a therapist. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing to get to experience that with her. And now she's the mother of my 2 children, and it's just reminiscing on that journey. And it was just amazing,
Were your kids there last night too?
They'll be here today. They weren't there last night. My daughter's a Spitfire. I don't know how that would have went.
How old?
She's 3.
Oh, how cute. Yeah.
So my wife, her first name's Hannah, her last name's Wren. She took my last name, so our little girl, her name's Wren.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
That's a fun last name, or first name for a
That
girl.
is,
That's
yeah.
creative.
Okay, so you won the Big East Outdoor Championship with a throw of 19.33 meters. Now, I have a question. Hopefully you can answer for me. Can you explain how far that throw is in football terms for people that maybe don't understand how far that is?
That would be 20 yards-ish.
Okay.
So 2 first downs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a kind of a,
It's a good throw.
it's a good throw.
It's a good throw. Yeah. When you were a sophomore, what did it feel like to win that? Obviously, I'm going to assume, it's not something that people win kind of early in their college career, but for you to win that early, what did that mean to you?
It meant a whole lot. Yeah, it was like interesting. I never thought I was going to be an elite level college athlete. Like I said earlier, it was like, this is great. I got the opportunity to come and compete, pay a little bit of my, tuition type thing. And then I started getting better and had awesome teammates to build off of. And, a great coach who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And quickly was like, okay, I can be pretty good at this thing. And to win, it was my sophomore year, was it?
Sophomore year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't even
He's like,
remember.
I've won so many, I can't even keep track.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't reminiscing and all this stuff. I
Yeah.
don't even think about
Yeah.
that stuff. I think about the other stuff. They brought up some statistics last night. They said 27 individual meet wins. I'm like, really? I don't even remember that. And it's 7 Big East championships. I didn't recall that. It was like more so like I remember when we took second at Big East as a team for the first time. And how many years were we in the bottom? 2 or 3 teams. So that's what I remember. But it was nice to win the
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
East, individually.
And then the next year, or that year, you got injured. Is that correct? Your
my
sophomore year,
sophomore
you
year.
redshirted due to an injury.
Yes.
Okay.
May have been after my freshman year.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you did get injured, I always like injuries. No one teaches you how to be injured when you're an athlete, right? Like there's no like, here's the guidebook on like everything that happens. I played volleyball and I tore my wrist apart, and there was no like. It was just like, go to the corner and figure it out. But I do think there's something interesting about that time off where you get to be like kind of in solitude almost, and you really get to figure out like, do I want to do this? How can I come back from it? And so I'm curious to know, like during that like year off that you had, what was kind of going through your mind when you were injured and you weren't doing the thing that you were like, hey, I'm really good at this and I want to, really compete at the highest level.
Great question. So with my sport or event in particular, shot put, it was all about getting as strong and big as possible, right? So I had put on a lot of weight as a freshman, good weight, the weight we wanted me to put on. And after I had 2 shoulder surgeries back to back and 6-month recovery between, each individually, and I had them 3 months apart. So it was like 9 months. I totally had to drop all my training, and I lost like all that weight that I had gained, all the, the gains in the weight room, that kind of stuff. And I was like, holy shit, am I going to be able to come back and, get back in the gym and get to a point where I was before I got
Because
injured?
you feel like your progress is all like halted at that
Yeah,
point.
exactly. But my coach is like, don't worry about it, Matt. When you get back in the gym, healthy, it'll come back fast. And I remember going through that like mental battle with myself, like, holy crap, was this the right choice? Should I have just gutted it out? And it ended up working out. I got back and coach was right. Weights came back and I got, back to my competing weight. But yeah, definitely there's a lot to think about. I focused a lot on film and technique, to try to refine that skill. Visualization was a good thing that coach kind of taught me to do. He's like, just if you can't do it physically, think about you doing it. And it definitely was an interesting time. And I had that twice. I had I had a red shirt and a gray shirt. I had another surgery on my hand. That was kind of a goofy one where I had to sit out, couldn't compete. So I had that kind of cycle twice in my career. But it ended up working out.
Yeah,
so.
it did. Well, that's cool that you kind of manifested it and thought about it like that. And then to be able to bounce back and then come back and win then the indoor championship junior and senior year, did that kind of reaffirm that, you were meant to do this and you did everything as best as you possibly could?
I think it did. Yeah, it definitely did. It's like there was a lot of doubt, a lot of moments where it's like, am I going to get back to the level that I was at? And to be able to win at Big East and, kind of affirm those thoughts, I think it springboarded me into, great indoor seasons, great outdoor seasons, qualifying for nationals and all that stuff, and getting to compete at the highest stage.
I'm curious because I cover both indoor and outdoor track and field championships for the Big East, and I want to know which you like better because they're kind of different.
Yeah.
Like the indoor one is, I feel like I can't keep track of everything going on, and then the outdoor one, there's like events happening in 2 different locations.
Yeah, they're definitely different. if you ask track and field athletes, outdoors where you make your money, you know. But something about indoor, I loved indoors. I loved indoors because the ring in shot was a little bit different. Some indoor rings were similar; they'd pour concrete or whatever, but a lot of them were a different material, and you can get a little bit faster indoor. So I liked that. I was a smaller, undersized shot putter, and speed was a big thing for me. So I kind of like that about indoor. I think my indoor mark's actually farther than my outdoor. I don't like to admit that, but
It's fine.
But the cool thing about indoor too was it is more condensed, right? You're kind of in the same space with the rest of the team. So as an athlete, you can be a little bit more connected to what's going on with your team throughout the, event. Outdoor, it does get a little bit spread out. It's hard to keep track of that.
Yeah.
As a fan, it might be difficult.
It is.
It is.
And I find it hard to interview the athletes because everything's going on at once and they're about to puke and it's
Happens
different.
often.
It's very different. Yeah.
Those
But the
brutal
throwers
800s.
are always fun to talk to.
Yeah, because we just, do our thing, throw a big heavy rock, and then
Yeah.
after we eat some cookies. And
Puke
Right.
beforehand,
Yeah.
throw the rock,
Yeah,
eat a
yeah.
cookie. Oh my God, I can't imagine. I'm just like trying to imagine puking before a game right now and then being like, all right, I'm good, let's go. Like, I don't think I could do it.
Right. We're too old
some
for
of
that
those,
now.
the 1500, the 800, like those are grueling races. It takes all of you. It's just like a
Totally.
full out sprint.
Yeah.
So I could see the
Not
puke.
for me.
All right, and then last question. Do you still use the metric system in everything you do today?
No, I don't. I hated the metric system, not going to lie.
We were talking about this earlier. I feel like America has set us up for failure because everyone else uses it.
They
And
do.
like honestly, if someone was like, "What is this?" I'd be like, "I'm dead.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know. I have no idea. Just like, I don't know."
I forgot what the conversion was, but it's like 1 meter is 3.2 something feet, something like that. And like,
Okay.
I hated doing the math. I'm like,
Yeah.
can't we just talk in feet?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is America.
Yeah. I was gonna say, okay, so we're not alone in this. This makes me feel really happy.
No, but for whatever reason, like the shift from high school to college, everything's in meters, and so we had a bunch of Canadian athletes, and they do everything in metric, right? So they loved it, and then like to see us struggle a little
Of course
bit.
they did. Of course they did.
I know you said last question, but I do have one more.
Oh,
So
go ahead,
sorry for
Case. Yeah.
cheating. Any words of advice that you would give to the track and field athletes, the throwers, whoever, just an athlete at DePaul who wants to be in the Hall of Fame someday and kind of achieve what you did?
Yeah, that's a great question. Words of advice. Believe in yourself. So maybe I'll start with like this. When I first started at DePaul and got to continue competing in shot put, like I thought I could be good, but I didn't really understand my own full potential. And once I got like the right support cast who believed in me, it made me believe in me. And when I started believing in myself, I exponentially got better. I got better in every avenue as an athlete, as a person, as a student. And don't underestimate the power of belief in yourself. I think that could take you to levels that you didn't think you could achieve.
Amazing. So find your circle and then just keep believing. That
Surround
core
yourself.
group.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Matt, thank you so much and congratulations again.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Welcome back into a very special episode of the Blue Demon Room podcast. I'm Casey Standahar. This is Jenna Duddleston. And this man, I've said this all week, needs no introduction. Wilson Chandler is joining us.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction.
Appreciate it.
How was last night?
It was great. I'm not a public speaking guy, so it's a little nerve-wracking, but it was amazing. Everybody did a good job. I was entertained, honored, so it was a great night.
Yeah, it was really cool to get to see you guys all up there and learn more about your careers. You spent 2 years at DePaul from 05 to 07. When you were here, you averaged 12.9 points, 7.1 rebounds, 1.4 blocks, assists. You earned all Big East rookie team honors in 06, second team all Big East recognition in 07. And we talked about this last night too. You really helped usher DePaul into that Big East era. What was the time like back then when you were, kind of coming up through DePaul and seeing the Big East sort of evolve?
It was kind of tough because I think DePaul has such a rich history, and at that time it was kind of like going there, and it was the first year in the Big East, and at that time the Big East was maybe 21 teams or something like that. It was a big conference, and everybody was good. Everybody was really good, so it was a tough test. But man, the best competition. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I had some of my best years here, on and off the court, so it was amazing.
So you grew up in Western Michigan playing basketball. Not a lot of people are coming out of Western Michigan doing kind of what you did. What was your high school team like? Describe kind of, why you really wanted to, kind of make basketball and you kind of won.
Our high school team, it was kind of similar to what you would think of a traditional Midwest team, blue collar, hardworking, scrappy. We pressed full court, we ran up and down. I think that was part of the reason I chose DePaul, because the similar styles, and that was the style of the Big East. So I think that was like a perfect match for me.
You have some fans in Michigan. I have some ties to Michigan. I'm marrying a Michigan man, and
Nice.
he mentioned that you were Mr. Basketball at one point. So to be able to get that honor and then continue your career through DePaul and then your career in the NBA as well, was there any moment that kind of you thought really led to your success? Like maybe it was growing up or in college that you knew you wanted to keep this going?
When you think about like basketball and like just players individually, there's always a village of people you can always point to like some point in time or a person that kind of helped you along the way. But I think just for me, my grandmother, she was the first person that kind of like introduced me to basketball. She was a big Bulls fan, so we would watch WGN,
Nice.
Channel 9
Yeah,
as
you
a
mentioned
kid.
that yesterday.
So we did that like literally every time the Bulls played, we watched WGN. And that was like my first introduction to basketball. And they would show DePaul games as well, so that was kind of my first introduction to DePaul. And then my high school coach also went to DePaul
Great.
as well.
So that's quite an introduction to basketball, watching the 90s Bulls era.
Yeah.
Like, what a time.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what made you want to come to Chicago then? Was there any bit of that, or like what really?
Nah, it was kind of different. So I was from Michigan originally, so I was like my dream school was Michigan State as a kid. But once I got older, things started changing. I actually did commit verbally to Michigan State. But what happened? One of my best friends that I played AAU with, he was supposed to go to Ohio State, but the coach ended up getting fired, I think, or something like that. So they kind of like rescinded his scholarship, and he chose DePaul was his second option. And the more me and him spoke, and the more I spoke to my AAU coach, and just styles of play between the Big East and the Big Ten, and just him being here, me and him having that chemistry. So I was like, okay, let's take a visit to DePaul. And then once I got here, it was Leto. He was here. So I liked his staff. I liked the players on the team that I'll be playing with in the future. And like I said, my best friend was coming here, so I changed my mind to come here.
It's crazy to think about this, but you left DePaul nearly 20 years ago. Have you stayed watching DePaul basketball? Have you kept up with the team a little bit?
Yeah, especially now, with the new coaching staff with Holtman and those guys. I like what he's doing. I think he's changing the culture.
Yeah.
It takes time, and I think he's headed in the right direction. So I watch a lot of DePaul basketball now.
In that same thread, seeing what he's doing with DePaul, like, what do you notice about him as a coach, and what are some of the changes you're seeing?
I think with him, it's just patience and just kind of understanding the landscape of what's going on in college basketball. And I think also his communication with the fans and just the people that's been around DePaul for a long time, the alumni. I think his communication with those guys has been great. I think that's probably his biggest, to me, his best attribute as a coach. I mean, I'm pretty sure he does a lot of things well, but I like the way he communicates with everyone.
And you've got to be around the team a little bit this year, correct? Is there, what kind of like words of wisdom have you kind of like given to the guys?
Just, kind of just staying in the moment. I came to the game against St. John's, and I think we had them on the heels. That was a good game. We had a chance to win. And I think we let them back in the game just worrying about the fouls and how bad the refs were that night instead of just staying in the moment and just kind of like focusing on the game.
What was it like being in those shoes as an 18 to 22-year-old? Like coming up, the pressure that these guys are facing, like you've been there, you've done it.
It's tough. And they have a little added extra pressure with NIL and social media and things
different
of
now.
that sort. Yeah, we just
Yeah.
had Facebook. And you only
all we
can send so many messages a day on Facebook
MySpace
back
and
then.
Facebook, yeah.
Yeah.
My,
So
my
it was,
Facebook status was like, I'm going away, can't talk for the next 5 days.
Yeah, exactly. So it was different. And I think you had to be at a 4-year university too.
Yeah,
to have one,
Yeah, to have one. So it was a little different. So now these guys got social media every day. They have NIL. They have betting going on.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of pressure. I couldn't imagine now, But I think it's the same, just kind of just focus on what you can control.
In that same thread, did you have any pregame rituals that helped you or anything you did before a game?
I didn't really have
superstitions?
no superstitions. I kind of like music was my thing, so I would just throw my headphones on,
Yeah.
just kind of lock in, listen to music.
What music? What was on the playlist?
Oh man, I grew up in a house with a lot of old people, so I got like generations of music that I like. But if I had to point to an era, I like the '90s, like late '90s, early 2000s era.
Classic.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love that. I feel like there's probably Motown on that playlist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of
love
Motown
it.
too.
Yeah,
a lot of
love it.
Motown too. But all across the board, even like the new guys, I like some of the new guys. So.
I love music.
Yeah, me too.
Music just makes me so happy.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Is there, if you were in their shoes now, like how do you think you would have handled NIL with and social media too? Because they're kind of really intertwined in one.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I think it's kind of a cheat because now like I could look back and
Yeah.
say I would do this, but it's tough to say. But like knowing what I know now, like I would just have the right circle around me, hire the right people. I think sometimes we don't want to pay people, but I think if you hire the right people, have them around you, because like college basketball now is like the pros, so you might as well like have the best people around you.
For sure.
You're the second person who said that today.
I've been saying that too.
Yeah.
Even college football, like you have to treat these kids almost like professional athletes.
Yeah, no, this is like semi-pros now.
Yeah.
I mean, you get paid, you know, so it's like semi-pros. The landscape has changed, so I would definitely hire the right accountant, the right agent, and just kind of vet that system.
No snakes in the garden.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you have a specific Big East team or rival that you really looked forward to playing when you were here?
So when we went to the Big East, I think Marquette went, a few other teams, because they was Conference USA before, I think. But that was the rivalry. It is today. But I think for me, just looking forward to looking at the roster, seeing like who's at my position, where they're ranked in the country, what position they are on the draft board. So I would look at teams like Georgetown. They had Jeff Green, who's an amazing player. That was my position. That was looked at as a lottery pick. Rudy Gay at UConn, stuff like that. So I would just kind of base it off that. Like, let me play good against the best players and the best teams and see what I can do.
That's cool.
When you were a player, were you ever like chirping in anyone's ears? Like,
Yeah,
'cause I
were you
feel
like
like
that?
that. You don't
that kind
seem
of
like
thing?
that guy, but
No.
like, was there anything that you did, besides chirping or like to, get under someone's skin? Like, were you
agitate a little bit.
agitate them a little
Yeah,
bit.
no. So that was never my game. But I do love players like that. It's crazy because I never did it, and I'm super quiet on the court in general. But I always loved like players that was like that.
I feel like people probably tried to get under your, like, you have a great poker face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
you
you'd be a
can.
phenomenal poker player. I don't. I give everything away. It's really bad.
I have too many facial.
No, literally, someone's like, "You want to do this?" And I'm like, "No."
Yeah,
That'd be
exactly.
great.
What do you miss about just playing basketball, the pros? I mean, just all of it.
I think I miss being around like just people in general, my teammates and coaches, the camaraderie, because you spend so much time around these guys. Like it's more than what you spend around your family at some point. So I think I just miss the camaraderie, the jokes, just the hanging out, stuff like that. I miss that more than the actual playing.
We get to play at Wintrust now. Obviously,
Yeah.
when you played, it was at All-State. Besides the drive, getting out there, but how do the two kind of differ?
I think just the atmosphere of being in the city. You're right by Soldiers Field, right in the South Loop. I think just the access, people have sharing the gym with the sky. I think it's just a different atmosphere.
Is there any like major differences from playing at DePaul college basketball to the pros or anywhere else you played that you would like advise the guys today to be aware of if they're looking to go pro?
Yeah, for sure. It's a few things, but once it's kind of like going from high school to college. Just the pool of talent, it gets more concentrated, I guess. Guys are a lot better. Teams are a lot better. And I think it's just kind of like the difference between like in high school, you got probably your parents or your coaches or somebody make sure you get to class. Then you go to college, it's kind of like on your own. It's the same thing with the pros, with far as like just keeping your body in order, diet, make sure you get extra reps in, just kind of being a professional. So I think the maturity level, in the pros is a lot more, I would say, detail oriented.
Okay.
You left college 10th on DePaul's all-time list for block shots.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
We're telling you.
We're telling you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was always a guy that I just loved to play. My grandmother, I didn't come from a basketball family. It's crazy. My grandma's the only person in my family that ever played. So I just loved basketball. I never really was a stat guy or like I have none of my like trophies or jerseys. My grandma has everything. Like I don't even keep up with it. I just like basketball, so.
Just like hand them over to her.
Yeah,
Here you
for
go.
sure.
She's like, we have a whole room. It's
Yeah.
fine. But can you tell us what it's like to block a shot? Like, was that one of your favorite feelings of
Gotta
playing?
feel good.
Yeah, I just always felt like if I could be really good on defense, like I would always have an opportunity to play because everybody wanted to play offense, and you'll see guys give like little effort on defense and then they have all the energy on offense. And I've seen guys like kind of like kill their careers like that. So I wanted to always be like a person who played hard on defense and just play hard overall in general. But
I love defense.
yeah.
It's like, I just love it so much. And it's like that super corny saying, but like offense wins games, defense wins championships.
Yep.
For sure,
You know.
definitely.
You were just honored by Denver a few weeks ago. What has it been like to receive this recognition? How have you been reflecting on all of it?
Man, it's been amazing because it was like just like here, I wasn't expecting it, so it's been amazing. I think like you see like guys like the Kobe's, the LeBrons, the Kevin Durant's, like rightfully so they get honors, but you never really see like teams honor like role players and guys who probably contributed, but not in a way like those guys did. So it's been amazing few weeks. So.
Does it bring up any different feelings for you?
Yeah, definitely. Especially there, because I got to see some guys, that's like here. Now that was like my rooks,
Sure.
Joker and Jamal Murray.
Yeah.
I was with those guys when they first came in. Had a great relationship with them then and now. So just to see them guys grow, and then just coming back here, being alumni, just seeing everybody in the room, seeing Miss Ponsetto and Kate and other people. So it's been great.
How have those guys changed besides their growth on the court? Just like, how are they to be around?
They fathers now, husbands and boyfriends, and just kind of just seeing them grow into like grown men that came in as kids.
Sure.
Both all-stars, Joker, MVP, champion. So it's just successful on and off the court.
You kind of like Casey had alluded to earlier, you're kind of in a time of reflection in your life, right? Like we're looking back on your time at DePaul,
Yeah.
we're looking back on your time with the Nuggets, and I think reflection is good because it kind of helps us lead into what we want to do next. So with where you're at, kind of at this point in your career, what are you hoping to take from this time in reflection to move forward into the next chapter of your life?
I think something I'm passionate about, something that's fulfilling. So I do work with the NBPA now. So I work with a lot of players on the union side. It could be anywhere from if this guy needs help with mental health or finances, or just
Yeah.
even just how to deal with parents and family. Like they want to control pretty much everything, but you're a professional. So it's across the board. But I think just finding the next thing that's fulfilling, like that gives me the same feeling as basketball, that same passion and drive.
That's cool. I think it's so important because you're wanting to make sure that they're taken care of, treated fairly.
Yeah,
they
for
have the
sure.
resources that they need to be successful, whether they're playing or not.
Yeah, for
Very
sure.
cool. What else is keeping you busy these days?
Full-time AAU dad. So my kids, they play AAU. So I do, when I'm not with the PA, I'm doing that.
That's cool. Is it cool to see them play? And do you have like that, I don't know, like that, I played, I did this, so you
Yeah.
have to be like this. Is that added pressure for them?
Yeah, I mean, originally, like starting off, I didn't pressure them to play. Once they said they wanted to play, I would definitely
Like, okay,
push them
good.
at that point. But it's definitely tough to be like, oh, I did this and you got to do this. So I do it sometimes, but once I catch myself, I kind of like scale it back and kind of let them have their own journey. But also like guide them, like this is what you have to do as a
Yeah.
player, because it's certain stuff that never changes no matter
Sure.
the generation.
Fundamentals.
Yeah,
I also feel
fundamentals.
I got to interview Paul Konerko, 2005 World Series White Sox player, and
Yeah.
he was at the time when I talked to him, he was coaching his son, and he's like, "My son doesn't listen to me." I'm like, "Does your son know who you are?"
Yeah,
like,
they
but
don't-
it's like it doesn't even matter
They
because
don't
they're
care.
like, "I know everything. What are you talking about? You didn't play, you know."
You wasn't that good.
He wasn't that good. I was like, the man brought a World Series here.
They don't care. They
No,
don't care.
but I guess for you, do you have any like advice that you would give to students coming up who are maybe hoping to implement the career that you had here at DePaul?
I would say just kind of, we all want to be stars, but sometimes you got to star in your role. So I think figuring out like what your game is, how you fit into a team system. I think that's the biggest thing, like starting off, kind of like figuring that out, being a student of the game, listening. Like listening is big. Listen to your coach. Listen to your teammates. Being a good teammate. So I think, for me, all the little things that kind of get overlooked when someone scoring 40 or that. We all want to do that, and it's great, but sometimes we gotta just kind of lock in and just pay attention to the small things and the details.
I love that. All those little things are what made you a great role player and led you to this chair with us today.
Yes.
And that don't even stop there. Like sometimes like those players do grow into being the Kobe's, because Kobe was a student of the game. He started there first, and
Right.
then he grew into what we know now.
Yeah.
So there's no limitations when I say that. Just kind of that's the foundation
Great
to
advice.
building the house.
Wilson Chandler, it's been great having you on. Thank you for coming on,
Yeah,
and we
thank you.
appreciate it. Congratulations again.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.